This is the After Party, live with Kim McAllister. Pick a couch, grab a drink, and settle into the conversation.
After Party live on a Trivia Thursday. Hello, hello. Thank you for being here. I'm so happy to have you along for the ride. And I'm excited. Today we're going to do some constitutional trivia. How well do you know your Constitution? Some of the questions I think are a little easy, some maybe not so much. And then we'll talk about biology. There's a couple different categories in biology. I'm looking at cell biology. So that's where we're headed, but that's trivia. And that is coming up. Very popular segment here on the After Party Live. So we'll do that. Thank you for being here and thank you for your patience. Tomorrow I'm filling in for Mark Thompson. So there was a bit to talk about there. And I think it'll be a good show. I'm excited. You know, Friday shows kind of take care of itself anyway. You've got Friday Fabulous Florida, you've got Michael Schur and Jim Avila coming through, you've got Michael Snyder, you know, the whole thing's already set up. So it's going to be good. Yeah. Well, Heather says you're going to fail at this one. No, I think it's going to be good. You'll be surprised. You'll be surprised. Yeah. I think it's going to be good. Yvonne says, hello, Tapple crew. I've been out in the garden today listening to the Mark Thompson show. Those guests were really good. I mean, David Katz is always amazing. But then you had June Carbone and Bill Black, and I would love to have them back on. I thought that was a really interesting conversation. So I'm glad that you enjoyed the show. And I love the thought of you out in your garden, getting a little sunshine and getting your hands in the soil. So nice. Absolutely. Looking at the chat, hit the thumbs up button, says Tammy. Please do. Please click the like button. It helps in how the show is distributed. And please click the subscribe button as well. I am trying to get to 2,500 and I'm kind of close. I think it's at 2,460 something. So 40-ish away. Hopefully we'll get to it sooner rather than later, because it's nice to have the show grow and to feel like people want to watch it. So please click the subscribe button and it would very much help me out. Okay. You know what else I wanted to mention is the contributions to the show, because I have been remiss in doing it yesterday. And so I want to make sure that people understand that it is very appreciated, and it is the reason that the After Party continues. So a huge thank you to Wes, who has contributed to the show yesterday and previously and almost daily, nearly $5 to the show. Thank you, Wes. I appreciate that. Chris H. throwing in $8 via PayPal, Deidre with 20, Susan S. with 10, Kathy O. with 10, Beth with 10, and those were just the most recent. So huge thank you. The PayPal link is in the About tab here on the After Party Live on YouTube and also in everyday's show description. All right, the business taken care of. Let's jump into the guts of the show. And I have some interesting stories set up today. Check this out. This is actually, let's go to Hawaii first. Look at that. That doesn't happen very often. This is Kilauea. Check out the volcano going crazy. Usually it kind of burbles down the hillside. You don't normally see this type of height for an eruption. This is the viewing area, and usually you can see the caldera, maybe a little smoke coming out of the vents, but not like this. This is the eruption with Fountain Heights. Hasn't been seen in 50 years. Last month, the lava fountain reached a height of more than 1,000 feet. Apparently, there's the potential it could do so again. So yeah, this is confined in the Summit Caldera in Halemaumau Crater. And it is very viewable at different spots in the overlook at Hawaii Volcanoes National Park. If you've ever been to this area, it's so interesting. There's these massive hydrangea plants that grow in the neighborhoods near in Volcanoes, which is the city of Volcanoes, Hawaii. But there are a bunch of bed and breakfasts where you can stay in this area, and great restaurants as well. And then you've got Hawaii Volcanoes National Park right there, and there's some trails and there's an overlook and there's a visitor center. It's really cool. And to see something like this is it's pretty amazing. You know, you can from Volcano House watch this type of massive eruption and you would think that maybe it would be a little bit dangerous, but you're far enough away and from what it looks like, it's not shooting up to the point where it's gonna, seep over the edge. They say there are places with a little bit better view, but that's about a mile walk to a different viewing area. There are a number of viewing areas set up here. The fountain eruptions can be heard and seen on most days. The sound they make is this low frequency, loud rumble roar, and they spray rock up into the air. This Kilauea eruption, current eruption, started in 2024 of December, and it's been going on periodically. So it'll go for a period of time, it'll pause for a bit, then it will start up again. The length of time in between the eruptions are varying. 13 hours to 8.5 days, according to SF Gate, is how long it's taking in between eruptions. So the pauses have ranged from 1 day to 12 days. It could start again at any moment. They don't know. But as the episodes continue, the fountain heights are getting higher and higher and higher. The last uh, fountain to be logged, March 26th, at a height of more than 1,000 feet. And that was the highest since this whole thing started. Eh, It's interesting. When they first started, it was only 200 feet high. So progressively getting higher and higher. Yeah. Fascinating. When I was on my honeymoon, we went to the Big Island, and back then you could hike up to the area where the lava was flowing down. And I remember we were standing there getting our pictures taken in the dusk, which is when the whole hillside starts to glow where the lava's coming down. And we got a little too close. My husband said he could feel the heat on the back of his legs. There were people sticking forks and spoons into the lava and twirling it around like pasta and setting it on metal sheets to let it dry, and then they would sell them on the side of the roadway, which is crazy that you would stick a fork into lava. Also, bad luck. Don't ever take lava or sand or anything that had to do with Pele home. Bad luck, don't do it. Nope. That's why people send it back. They tell you, don't take it home and don't send it back to us. We don't want it. Yeah. Huge thank you. Just saw this roll through to Eileen, who says we appreciate you and everything you do to help with our mental health. Oh, thank you. That's really nice. $20 from Eileen. Thank you so much. Really, really kind of you. Really nice. I don't know how I'm helping with mental health on the volcano thing, but I just think it's really cool. This next story, Eileen, I don't know if this one's going to be much help either. We'll get to the help, the good part. I promise it's coming. This is Greenland, and it is a little city in Greenland, and it's just a placeholder of what could be coming to Greenland. Freedom City. So this is again, this is not Freedom City, but this is what Freedom City could look like on the icy shores of Greenland. It is an effort to create a stateless city with minimal corporate regulation. It's a techno city that billionaire tech people want to build in Greenland. They're looking at this site for a techno-utopian freedom city. This report comes out of Reuters, published in Popular Science. There's an effort to set up this new libertarian-minded city, which the hallmarks would be that it would have minimal corporate regulation. There would be a focus on emerging technologies like AI and mini nuclear reactors. And they say Greenland would be perfect because it's got a cold climate, it's naturally cool, massive, energy intensive AI data centers, right? The AI data centers would be perfect in this climate. There are large deposits of critical and rare earth minerals here beneath the ice sheets. So there could be some manufacturing for consumer electronics done. They're calling it a startup city. And it's kind of like the city that tech billionaires and investors were trying to get set up in Solano County. Remember the California Forever move? The one where they're buying up all the farmland near Travis Air Force Base, and then people got wind of it and thought, maybe we don't want that." Mm. That one, apparently, this one has the backing of PayPal founder Peter Thiel, uh, and Ken Howry, who's Trump's pick for to be the ambassador of Denmark. I'm surprised Denmark will let us in anymore. Mm. If he's confirmed by the Senate, it'll be Howry leading the United States discussions to acquire Greenland. They keep saying they don't want to be part of America. I don't know why we're not listening. Anyway, Howry, Thiel, other prominent Silicon Valley venture capitalists like Mark Andreessen are among the names backing this tech freedom city in Greenland. It'll be interesting to see if they actually pull this off. I don't know. They call it seasteading, trying to build floating, stateless utopia cities in the ocean. Seasteading. Now, this would be on the shores of Greenland, so not quite seasteading. These efforts are all wrapped up in these libertarian political ideals with the focus on technological development and lots and lots and lots of money. So here we go. Watch out for this. The Freedom City. We'll see how free it really is. This story is the picture is a little sad, but I think the story is really happy. This is a bald eagle, and this eagle was shot in the beak. You can see the injury here. But new word that the beak is healing following this gunshot wound. This bald eagle was found on a roadway in Missouri, survived the gunshot wound to the beak, and now there's a sign of recovery keratin growth on the injured beak. This is according to World Bird Sanctuary. They are a nonprofit that treats and takes care of these raptors. They say it's taken about 9 months and it's taken 7 surgeries to get this beak to be able to grow again. And so the growth, they say, is no guarantee that the keratin will regrow over the entire beak, but they say it does give them hope that we may start to see growth in the area spreading as they move forward. So the bald eagle was found on the side of the road near Vienna, Missouri, with this gunshot wound. The folks there at the sanctuary say, based on the pattern of damage to the beak and trace amounts of metal found in the wound, they think it was a gunshot wound. The animal also had a large wound over his left humerus that was consistent with a gunshot injury as well. So he went off to the rehab center. The wounds were cleaned out and evaluated. Surgery was performed, and they put 8 metal cross pins, 2 on each side of the fracture on this bird's beak. There are some other pictures of the surgeries and also of the actual injury, which looks awful, that I won't show you. This is probably the most palatable picture you'll see. But this bird, if you could see the very beginning, it's come such a long way. Again, the article is in Popular Science, so you'll see that. But just an amazing recovery. So glad to see it. And of course, you know that beaks, eagle beaks, the talons, they're all made of keratin, which is this strong type of protein that helps to form our skin and our hair, on a variety of animals, not just us. The biggest concern for this eagle, they call him 390. He's number 390. The biggest concern for 390's recovery has been that the beak would be too damaged for the keratin to regrow, and that maybe the bone that supports the entire beak, the upper beak, there might have been too much missing from it. Because at the beginning, it was just almost severed in half. So, but it looks like it's doing really well, again, after multiple surgeries. So, very good. Very good, 390 on the road to recovery. So something a little more, what? Check out this lady's mouth. She set a Guinness World Record. She's from Alaska, Ketchikan, and she has a nearly 3-inch mouth gape. You can see how on the left how wide it opens. She had her mouth gape measured by a dentist 2.98 inches. That's how far she can open her yap. And she now takes the Guinness World Record for the world's biggest mouth gape. Her name is Marie. She said she always knew she had a large mouth, but she hadn't realized that it would be a record holder until she saw a video of the previous record holder whose mouth gape was 2.56 inches. And she said, oh, I can do better than that. She said, I just watched the video of that other woman a few times and I was like, huh, that's funny. I could fit that kind of stuff in my mouth too. I wonder if I could beat her. So her dentist measured her mouth gape at 2.98 inches, and she gets the title for the largest mouth gape for a female. She told the Ketchikan Daily News, I always knew I had a big mouth. I talk a lot. Apparently, I have a physically big mouth as well, but we never really did anything out about it. She said it was always just kind of a joke that I could fit two, 3.5 Jenga blocks in my mouth type of concept when you're kids. She says now that she's a grown up, she doesn't really show off her big mouth as much. When she does, she says it creeps people out. But she missed out on an attempt to be part of the Guinness World Records for the largest Wellington boot race because she couldn't get the day off of work. So she thought, earning this title will be my redemption for that. She said, now I get to join the rest of them and have a Guinness World Record title with some other people in town. So there she has. Yeah, the world's largest mouth gape. The video of her has her biting into this burger that's really, really thick. Most people would just have to nibble at the edges and kind of flatten it a little bit. No, not Marie. She's got mad skills. Speaking of records, here's another one. This is a teenager who set the record for the most pages drawn in a flip book. Look at that stack. This British teenager hand drew 1,300 pages. It took him a while to do it. He's 17. His name is Max. He said he drew it, and it's called Thunder Strikes, over the course of several days. He said, I'd sit down at my desk at school or if I was on the train, and I'd just draw. Some of the toughest moments he said he encountered while trying to do this is that these flip books are usually meant to be short, snappy, interesting narratives. He said by the time he's on page 500, he was getting bored and running out of ideas, but he reminded himself that the world's records aren't meant to be easy, so he said he persevered and he carried on. So yeah, he's got 1,300 pages in what is now let me get the exact title of it. The world record, largest flip book. Is that what it's called? Yeah, largest flip book. There you go. So there's another record for you. All right, let's move to diet sodas. And there's some other foods as well that have these additives, and the additives raise the risk of type 2 diabetes. These are things commonly found in diet drinks, in soups, in dairy desserts, in sauces. There's a new study published in the journal PLOS Medicine that indicates this mixture of additives that are very commonly found in artificially sweetened beverages increase the risk of type 2 diabetes by 13%. They looked at about 110,000 people in doing this research. The diabetes risk for most was about 8%, the increased risk. The researchers say that the findings suggest that these additives present in a lot of products are often consumed together, and that certain mixtures of them are associated with a higher risk of type 2 diabetes. The substances represent a modifiable risk factor, paving the way for strategies to prevent type 2 diabetes. So, again, the researchers analyzed data on more than 100,000 people. They did it in this long term study in France. All the participants did a 2 to 15-day dietary record tracking of all the foods and drinks that they consumed, as well as what brands of it. And they followed them for 8 years. And they looked at 5 different additive mixtures commonly used in processed foods to see whether they had any effect on the diabetes link. And they say 2 of them raised significant risk. One of them involved additives used in diet drinks, including acidifiers and acidity regulators like citric acid, sodium citrates, phosphoric acid, and malic acid, coloring agents, sulfite, ammonia caramel, anthocyanins, paprika extract, all of these things. The other mixture used in processed foods had emulsifiers in it, like modified starches, pectin, guar gum, carrageenans, polyphosphates, xanthan gum, those types of things. And that's where they say the risk is. So they say that study isn't enough to establish a causal link, but the findings, they say, are in line with recent other experimental work suggesting there's a possible effect among those additives. So, yeah. I mean, we know this, that stuff in diet drinks is not good for us, right? The chemicals in there. And we know stuff in processed food isn't good for us. So it's just another indicator of things we've been told all along. Here's something good for your mental health. You're gonna poke your head outside this month because we got some meteor showers on the way for the rest of the year, as a matter of fact. We got a list of them. The Lyrid meteor shower, April 21st and 22nd. About 15 to 20 shooting stars per hour on the peak night. But it'll be the first meteor shower in more than 3 months. It coincides with Earth Day. And so it's a great time to look up in the sky, April 21st and 22nd. See if you can see any of these shooting stars. Then May 4th and 5th, you've got the Eta Aquarid meteor shower. Uh, it's a part of Halley's Comet, um, but it's the debris left behind by the comet. And so that also touches off shooting stars the night of May 4th into May 5th. About 30 per hour across North America is what we get. There's going to be a pair of small summertime meteor showers late July, 29th and 30th as well. The Alpha Capricornids and the Southern Delta Aquarids overlapping in late July. So we might see 10 to 15 per hour then. And then the Perseids come in August 12th and 13th. So a lot of opportunity to see the shooting stars coming up. But again, the next one, April 21st and 22nd. So that should be good. And this is a first for this show. I know. Urinal design. I I don't know what to tell you other than there was a study done as to which type of urinal offers the least amount of splashback. These, you have to study these things. because you want to put the right ones, make the right ones. It's all about, the engineering of the urinal. I have a Just in case you wanted to see it, I have a closer picture of urinals. Um, and I'm fascinated by the names of them. I just think it's so interesting what they've named them. So we'll start over on the left, which is where we have La Fontaine. And then the square one is the contemporary commercial urinal. And then the one that looks like it's got an upside down triangle there in the middle, that's called the cornucopia. And then the long one is called the nautilus. I'm not sure what that teardrop shaped one is called, but studies were done. And it looks like the cornucopia might actually prevent the most splashes. I mean, come on. That's what we all want, right? The least amount of splashes. You can see there. They've they've tested the splashback. They did the uh the looking with the tools, and they say it's time for a design upgrade from the traditional urinal to reduce splashback and improve overall public health. They had an international team of researchers and undergrad students at Canada's University of Waterloo. Two new urinal builds, dubbed the Cornucopia and the Nautilus, leverage fluid dynamics to reduce splashback. They published the study April 8th in the journal PNAS Nexus. The urinal design project is a teaching tool. They think it's the daily life problem that covers numerous topics: fluid mechanics, sustainability, differential equations, manufacturing, prototyping, art, industrial design, human factors, biomechanicals. They've got to test it. I mean, this kind of project for students teaches them a bunch of different things. And that's kind of what they were doing here. They say part of their inspiration for this project also came from dogs, because dogs often go up against trees right at these angles that they kind of know how to reduce splashing on their own. So that's where the idea came from. And so they found that when a liquid jet or droplet train impacts a rigid surface, a certain critical impinging angle, almost no splatter is generated. So the surface designed to always intersect the stream equal to or smaller than the critical angle prevents splashback. There you go. Who knew? Thanks, Canada. It's just another great thing that comes out of that wonderful country. Here's another design story for you, and then we'll get to our trivia. This is called helioskin, and it's created to be a flexible sun tracking material. This came from a team of researchers at Cornell University. They're developing this flexible solar material called helioskin, and it's integrated with sun tracking capability, kind of like biomimicry of what sunflowers do, how they turn their heads toward the sun. It's about developing flexible, lightweight solar collecting fabric for retractable roofs at stadiums, the exteriors of skyscrapers, etc. The material is this white latticed material that you can stretch out over roofs, over tent poles, along pathways and parks. It's made of this tensile fabric underlayer topped with bio-inspired skin. Photovoltaics in a second layer respond to and track the sun's path across the sky, very similar to the movement of sunflowers or other plants known as heliotropism. And so, tracking the light, they say it's very efficient, that the benefits, uh, it benefits sunflowers, enhancing their growth to be able to track the light. And so that's what they were trying to do, to capture that for solar cells. So here you see the Helios skin stretched out over a stadium, a rendering of that. And here it is in an umbrella as you walk down a pathway in a park, being able to absorb like that. They're much better looking and probably more varied uses than just a solar cell, right? Just a bunch of solar panels. So if they could make it work, it's pretty interesting. And they move. They have morphing skin that can do some light tracking to get increased efficiency. They're trying to produce this material for commercialization on larger projects, and then they'll roll it out on a pilot project to test it on a smaller scale as well. First, they're going to test the material as a backyard canopy that can provide light and power outdoor appliances before they scale it up and for use in parks. And they also say it makes solar infrastructure more aesthetically appealing to encourage its use among homeowners. Because apparently some people don't like the way the solar panels look on rooftops. It's about beauty, getting people excited about it so they actually want to participate. I don't mind the way solar panels look on rooftops, but these are kind of cool looking. So hopefully they make it so it works and they can test it out, and we'll keep reporting on that. All right, you guys ready? It is time for Trivia Thursday, after party style, and away we go. Okay, I'm going to open up the chat, get myself all situated. Nullifidian says, yeah, that could be useful. I think so too. Okay, here we go. The first question of the day. Should we do Constitution trivia first? Yeah, let's do that. Why are the branches listed in the order legislative, executive, judicial in the U.S. Constitution? Why are the branches listed in the order legislative, executive, and judicial in the U.S. Constitution? That's right. William Martinez says the order of power. The order of power is correct. Was it? Heather says because the founding fathers were bad at alphabetizing the hierarchy. The Sandy says the order of power as well. Yeah, Eileen says the order of power they should have. Absolutely. Order of importance, Debbie. Yes, that is correct. The answer is that certain founders wanted them in the order of power. As stated in some of the Federalist Papers, James Madison said the legislative branch was intended to be the most powerful branch because they didn't want a strong leadership figure like a king. They wanted a stronger legislative branch. So that is why it goes legislative, executive, judicial. That's the way they worded it. It's so weird. Everything makes a difference. The way words are placed, it all matters. Which of these officials is not part of the judicial branch? Which of these officials is not part of the judicial branch? Supreme Court Justice, Attorney General, Chief Justice, Appeals Circuit Justice. Not part of the judicial branch. Supreme Court Justice, Attorney General, Chief Justice, Appeals Justice. Yeah, you guys got it. It is, don't tell Trump, says Peter Newton. It is Attorney General. Uncle Jim has it. Jim has it. Jim S. Peter has it. BA. Cameo. Hi, Cameo. I just met Cameo the other day. That's so exciting. Nancy has it. Nancy V. Deidre has it. Sandy and SJ and Rev. And JT is on it. And Chaplain Fred is good to go. Calvin has it. Viewfinders, Tammy and Trevor, and Rhonda and Ren. Hey, Ren. Well done. Okay, next one. What is the job of the United States Congress? It's a multiple choice. What is the job of the U.S. Congress? To decide if laws are constitutional, to hire and fire the president, to veto the laws the president makes, to create laws, approve treaties, declare war, impose taxes. To decide if laws are constitutional, to hire and fire the president, to veto the laws the president makes, or to create laws, approve treaties, declare war, and impose taxes. And again, some of these are easy. Some of them might make you think a little bit. We'll take the easy ones where we can get them, right? Yeah, it is the last one, says William. The last one. The last one. Create laws is part of the last one. Yeah, the last answer. You guys got it. Last one, says Uncle Jim. To write laws. The last one. Yeah. Looks like you guys all have it. Heather says to flip over and allow the orange guy to ruin everything. I know we don't normally talk politics, but you kind of have to in the constitutional questions, right? Yeah. As set by the U.S. Constitution and expanded by its own ruling in Marbury v. Madison, what are the duties of the Supreme Court? As set by the U.S. Constitution and expanded by its own ruling in Marbury v. Madison, what are the duties of the Supreme Court? Multiple choice. To try impeachments? Nothing. They do whatever they want. To make sure the president signs bills? Or to judge individual legal arguments and decide if laws are constitutional? We'll give them letters. A, to try impeachments. B, nothing. They do what they want. C, to make sure the president signs bills. And D, to judge individual legal arguments and decide if laws are constitutional. The duties of the United States Supreme Court. D is correct. That is right. That who had it first? I think so, Peter. Yes, D. He says D. That's correct. The last one, D. I don't know if I scrolled up a little too far. The last one, to sit back and do nothing. No, wait, that's not right. To decide the laws, yeah, that would be D. To decide if the laws are unconstitutional, right? To determine constitutionality. Sandy with a nice answer. Jungle Jim, decide the constitutionality. That would be D. To judge stuff. Judicial review. That would be deciding if things are constitutional, right? Be aware, yes. Peter says it's D. It would be D, the last one. Yeah, the last one says Ren and SJ Lola. Deciding on the law. To accept the bribe, says Calvin. That's not the real job, Calvin. No, the last one says Rev. Yes. Teacher Lori says yes, it's D as well. D, D, and D. Jennifer L. and Rev and Yvonne, Uncle Jim and Mo and JT and Gordon all have it. Well done. Next question. Here it comes. The 3 levels of the federal court include the U.S. Supreme Court, the U.S. District Court, and which other court? The 3 levels of the federal court include the U.S. Supreme Court, the U.S. District Court, and which other courts? I'm going in. Oh, I can see some people have it. I will accept this appellate. The correct answer is the U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals. So it's the Supreme Court, the U.S. District Court, and the U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals. We are looking for U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals. And I will accept appellate from Jim S., Circuit Court of Appeals from William, yes. Appeals from Peter. Appeals courts from Uncle Jim. Yes, that's correct. Circuit from Josh. We'll take it. Kangaroo. Always a great answer. Nancy has it. VA Ware has it. Cameo has it. Trevor has it. Nullifidian. Eileen is on it. Jennifer L. rocking it. SJ Lola. Sandy. Yep. Ren. Rev. Nice. But all are moot now, says Peter. Ah. Calvin has it. Viewfinders. Debbie. Gordon. And it goes on. Yeah. Heather's got it. Next question. After the Department of Homeland Security was created in 2002, how many federal executive departments were there? This is changing now, right? After the Department of Homeland Security was created in '02, how many federal executive departments were there? I don't think this is in the Constitution, but that's all right. Hmm. Jim gets close. He says 14. Cameo's got 12, 6 from Jennifer, 7 from Gordon, 4 from Nancy. Rev has 9. Trevor with the answer of the day, 11,780. Too many, says Tammy. 3, 11, 13, or 14. The answer is 15. After the Department of Homeland Security came in 2002, there were 15 federal executive departments. But we're losing a few. You know, who needs the Department of Education, right? Yeah. Okay. Okay, next one. I see BA Ware got it as well, but I don't know if you got it after I said it or if you did it before, but that's all right. See there, Mo says 15 too. Yeah, 15 departments. Okay, next one. Where must all taxing laws start? Where must all taxing laws start? Yeah, it's pretty good. Deidre, first to the punch. House of Representatives. It is correct. I'll take Congress. Yep. Jim S. has it. Ren, Cameo, BA, Trevor is on it. Nullifidian, William. The House of Representatives. Josh, and Eileen, and Rev, and Teacher, and Heather. Elon's weird, creepy brain. I hope not. Yikes. All right, next one. Okay, we're moving on to biology now. What is the basic unit of life? What is the basic unit of life? Uncle Jim, so fast with that. Cell, he says, and cell is right. Uncle Jim has it. Cell. Deidre has cell. Cameo, Ren. Viewfinders, yes, cell. Sandy, cell. Jim, cell. Nancy has it, and some Nullifidian. And Heather and BA Ware. Sperm is a kind of cell, isn't it right? It's a cluster of cells. I want to give it to you, but I don't think I can. But you're not totally wrong. Peter says cell. DNA. It's cell is what we're looking for. Debbie has it. Nice. Hey, you know, I'll I know you're kind of joking, but it's kind of right. It includes cells. I'm just trying to be generous. Next one. What is the jelly-like substance inside of a cell called? The jelly-like substance inside of a cell. What is that called? Symbiosis? Cytoplasm is what we're looking for. I think Ren was first for that one, right? Yeah, cytoplasm. Look at you, Ren. Holy moly. Cytoplasm is indeed correct. The cytoplasm is the jelly-like substance inside of a cell. So Ren takes that one first, and let's see who else got it. Cytoplasm says cameo. Yes, that's right. I can picture you guys shouting back and forth from your computers, like, or your phones. Who got it? Peter says cytoplasm. That is correct. Be aware has cytoplasm. Nancy has it. Heather has it. I honestly don't know the difference between protoplasm and cytoplasm. The answer is listed as cytoplasm, so I'm going with it. Walnut Creek Adult Softball says cytoplasm. Indeed, it is cytoplasm. And oh, cyto means cell. See, I knew you knew. I'll gotta give you credit for at least knowing that. Extra credit for teacher Lori. Um, there you go. Okay, next question, my friends. What part of the cell contains genetic material? What part of the cell contains the genetic material? Yes. You guys are so quick and smart. Peter says it's the nucleus. Peter is correct, sir. Deidre says nucleus. Yep. Ren's got nucleus. Heather says nucleus. Yep. Nullifidian nucleus. Nancy, yes. Valley and Jim S. And what else you have? Nucleus says teacher Lori. Sandy. All true. Uncle Jim, nucleus. Walnut Creek and Debbie. Yes. Next one. What type of cells have no nucleus? What type of cells have no nucleus? If you get this, you're amazing. I never would have known it. What type of cells? I've never even heard this word. What type of cells have no nucleus? No nucleus at all. The lonely ones might be my favorite answer. Be aware says procar. Yeah. Heather says prokaryotic. That's correct. Yeah. Like Kim, no idea. It's okay. Yeah. Good job, you guys. Yeah, the answer is it is prokaryotic cells. So well done. What is the function of ribosomes in a cell? What is the function of ribosomes in a cell? Good job. Ribosomes in a cell. What do they do? Ribosomes in a cell. What do they do? What's their purpose? Purpose is not pleasure. Kind of. Be aware has it. It's protein synthesis. That is true. Heather says to make proteins. That's correct. Yep. Uncle Jim says to build proteins. That's right. Yep. Protein building, says Nancy. That is correct. Look at you guys go. I love it. What is the process by which cells divide and reproduce? What is the process by which cells divide and reproduce? Yes, Nullifidian has it. It is mitosis. Nancy has it. Heather has it. I skipped her. Heather has it. Uncle Jim has it. Mitosis. Peter Newton has it. Valley has it. Calvin, BA, Sandy, Ren. You guys are all over it. Sis something. Yeah, you got it. Debbie is on it. Teacher Lori. Yep. Next one. What is the main source of energy for cells? What is the main source of energy for cells? I'm gonna give it to Mars, sugar. Well, the answer is glucose, technically, but isn't that kind of the same thing? Tell me if I'm wrong. Sugar, sugar. Yeah, glucose is the answer. Calories. Nancy has sugar as well. Red Bull is a good answer. There's probably glucose in there. Again, like sperm, not completely wrong, right? Rhonda says sugar, sugar. Josh says glucose and cocaine. No. Sugar says Debbie. Yep. Mm, glucose is the correct answer. A steak with ketchup, says Peter. um, what is the primary function of carbohydrates in the body? The primary function of carbohydrates in the body. I think this one's kind of easy. What's the primary function of carbohydrates in the body? Yeah. Deidre says energy. It is to provide energy. Deidre has it. Jim has it. Sandy, Nancy, BA, Eileen, Ren, SJ. Yeah, to provide energy. That's absolutely right. To make doctors yell at you. To create energy, says Heather. Correct. To store energy or create it. Yeah. Energy, says William. Energy, says teacher. You guys got it. You smarties, you. What is the name? This might be too hard. I'm going for it because you guys are sciencey. What is the name of the molecule that carries energy in cells? If you know this one, you're a scientist. I'm sorry. I don't care what you do for a living. If you know this one, I will hereby designate you a scientist with my rod of something, not equity and mercy, my science rod. That sounds dirty. What is the primary, rather, my apologies. What is the name of the molecule that carries energy in each cells? Do you know it? You. Oh my gosh, you guys knew. Nullifidian says it's ATP. Note to self, no hittables before or after the show. It is ATP, also called adenosine triphosphate or ATP. Adenosine triphosphate, ATP, is the correct answer. And Nullifidian has it. And teacher Lori has it. And Heather has it. And Viewfinders has it. Look at all my little scientists. Uncle Jim has it. Yup. Nancy V has it. B.A. Ware has it. Ren has it. You guys are scienty. Heather, look at you. If you need the full term, I wouldn't. I would have taken either one, but you're just slapping down your science cred over here. Yeah, Nullifidian with the full written out term. I know. See, this is why I like to do the science categories because you guys are so good. Are the building blocks of proteins? What are the building blocks of proteins? We're coming to a close here because I know I'm keeping you guys too long. What are the building blocks of proteins? Indeed, they are, Uncle Jim, amino acids. The building blocks of proteins are amino acids. And you get it right, and Ren gets it right, and Heather gets it right. And I'm skipping around a little bit. My apologies. Donald, the gloomy Maine Coon, gets it right. Yep. And for Heather and Sandy and Josh and Ren and SJ and teacher and Nancy and Viewfinders. So good. Jennifer, Debbie, and Rhonda. Good job. Wow. Let's do this one. This is we'll move on from the extra sciencey. What is the science of classifying organisms called? What is the science of classifying organisms called? Uncle Jim, you're wicked fast. Taxonomy is correct. Uncle Jim and Heather and Josh and Jim and Ren. Good job, the IRS. I don't think so. How about this one? What type of symmetry does starfish have? What type of symmetry does starfish have? What type of symmetry does starfish have? Yeah, it's radial. That's correct. Radial, he says? Radial. That's right. Radial symmetry. Uncle Jim has it. Heather has it. Nullifidian had it. And yeah, nice. You may have a pass. Hall pass granted. All right, we'll make this the last question. What is the term for animals that lay eggs? What is the term for animals that lay eggs? The term for animals that lay eggies. Yes, Uncle Jim. It is oviparous. 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 So granted, Deidre. Yes, you got it. Sore? Perhaps. Too expensive? Well done. Oviparous says BA. Oviparous says Heather as well. Ovo something. You were super close. Yep. Yeah. I agree with Yvonne. Bravo, you guys. You did really well. I think maybe the science questions were pretty difficult, so I'm super proud of all of you. I agree with Rhonda with the clapping hands. Absolutely. You guys are awesome. Oviparous was that. And thus ends Trivia Thursday after party style. I hope you had fun. If you have any suggestions for next time, any categories that you would like to do, and we can get specific. I don't want to make it so hard that there's no way you could answer, and I don't want to make it so easy that it's like a waste of your time. There's a sweet spot right in the middle. But if you have a category that you think would work for that, please email me. Kim@theafterparty.live is where you can find me, the best place to email, Kim@theafterparty.live. So please send me a message. Again, thank you to everyone who has contributed to the show. If you're here just participating in that way, or you're sending me emails with ideas, or you're contributing financially to the show, all of these ways keep this show going and allow me to keep doing it. So huge thank you. And again, I do want to thank the folks that have thrown in some cash down to the show, and that includes Chris H, Deidre, Susan S, Kathy O, Beth F. Those are just the ones that came in the last 24 hours, including Wes as well in that. And I did see that we have Eileen who gave a 20 as well. So thank you for your nice words, and thank you for the contribution. You guys are amazing. I have so much fun with you. Please join me tonight. It is the Nikki Maduro Show, 5 p.m. So we'll meet right back here at 5 for cocktails, mocktails, and politics. The Nikki Maduro Show. Set a little alarm on your phone or your watch, and please come back and hang out as we talk about the political stories of the day and some other fun ones as well. So, all right, I'll see you tonight at 5, and then tomorrow at 11 on the Mark Thompson Show, filling in for him as well. Until then, make it a really good day, a great one, as a matter of fact, and I'll see you soon. For now, bye-bye.
The After Party Live would like to thank the following contributors and viewers like you.